All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Very Social Animal. I'm Judy, and we have Cassie, Grim, Paladin. Boy, people are trickling into our weekly meeting. So excited to have you guys. I was going to go over how the Growth Club works, but I feel like the people in our call today know what's up. So I might skip it so we have more time for Q&A. I made a little presentation about niches, however you want to say it. A lot of the questions this week in the Growth Club were pertaining to this topic, and I feel like it could be a really huge unlock for people, especially people with younger accounts. So I wanted to go over that. Also, how is everyone doing? How's your Monday? Hope everyone's doing good. Okay. I really, really love this topic. Let me get it. All right. So I really, really love this topic. I feel like if you get this right, then all the social media things become so much easier. If you don't do this first, I feel like you could spend a lot of time making all kinds of content and it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. So if you want to really work the social media thing, figuring out your niche is so helpful. It's really helped me out. So for example, before this current account and my shop, my last project was I was working on a children's book project where my niche was artist books for young children. So notice it wasn't just picture books, just artists, just kids. It was I was an art teacher writing children's books. The children's books were for young children, kids who couldn't read yet. So that's preschool, 0 to 4. And the books were about famous artists. So that was my hyper niche for my children's book project. And then when I did that and I made those things really clear, creating my content and then going after um, the right clients or the right audience was really easy with my art teacher Instagram. And so that's just one example of how niching down can really help you in the beginning. Because if you're really, really big, then it's kind of hard to be hyper niche. You have to be more general. Do you know what I mean? So whether you're a streamer or an artist or a creative, this will really help you to think through, and it'll also help build your account in the beginning. It'll give you the best chance to blow up in the beginning so that you don't have to do this for years and years and years without results. So let's get into it. Riches are in the niches. Niche, however you want to say. All right. First, oh, also, if you guys at any given point have a question, go ahead and pop them in the chat and I will answer as we go. And then I feel like we're going to have a lot of time today because I skipped the school explanation. So I would love to help you guys more closely for the people who showed up to the call today. So think about your brand and how we can help you, how I can help you today. And if you have any questions, jot it down or throw it in the chat or whatever. Let's start here. What is a niche? So there's a lot of ways to define it in the actual word itself, but in the business context, in our context, a niche refers to a specific, smaller segment of a larger market that has its own unique needs, preferences, and characteristics. Okay, this is so awesome because the internet is huge, and I really don't think that there's enough creators. There's people whining about how there's too many, but if you play this niche game correctly, then there's technically not enough. Do you know what I mean? So like let's take a random example. So like pets. If you wanted to, I'm seeing this all over for creators. Like if you're really into animals, there are content creators that only focus on exotic lizards and axolotls. That's their entire account. So that's like a hyper niche within a niche. The niche is exotic animals, and then the hyper niche is like axolotls. And there's people who make content just about that. And it's like they're like the heroes of that community. Sure. So when you niche down, it'll help you figure out what kind of content you need to make. It also helps you find your audience. It also helps you stand out. So I love this so much. So let's get into it some more. Here's another example. So the broad term for our guys in here that are on Twitch and that are game streamers and stuff like that, video gamers, the broad topic is streamer. One niche down, you could say, for example, you could say that you are a cozy streamer. So you play like simulation games or you play Nintendo games, or you play Animal Crossing, you play cozy, cute games that there's no shooting or murder or anything like that. So one niche down could be cozy streamer. But then you could even get more niched down and you could say, I'm a cozy streamer, I'm also a Nintendo ambassador, and I also am an Instagram influencer. To me, each one of these is a niche on its own, but combining it is really interesting. And when I wrote this down, I was actually thinking of cozy games. So this is my friend Kennedy. She is crushing the social media game right now. She literally got the username Cozy Games at the start of the pandemic. We kind of came up on TikTok at the same time, and I've been able to work with her with my shop, and she's promoted some of my things. And working with her is so phenomenal because she's not just a cozy gamer, but like, look, this is her color palette, this is her style. When you say Kennedy or Cozy K, you get an automatic vibe of like what she does and who she reaches. Her audience member is really specific. So this is really, really powerful when you are talking about sponsorships and getting people to or you are representing brands as an influencer. Oh, look. So that's the BMO I made for her a million years ago, and that's the sign we made for her recently. So she's really great to work for because our customer avatar is exactly her audience. So she's really, really great to work for. Tech companies, gaming companies also love Kennedy because she reaches a part of the audience that's very unique to the whole Twitch gaming space. And so she did a really, really great job with this hyper niching thing. So she's a cozy streamer. She's also a Nintendo ambassador. She's also an Instagram influencer. Each one of those things gives you like an image in your mind of what that could look like. And she's the combination of the three that makes her one of one, really special. And she stands out in a sea of streamers. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense in the chat, if that's confusing or if it's clarifying. And this is my goal for the members of our club. Yay! Bui says it makes sense. So it does. So this is what I want for you guys. I don't want you guys to all just be generalist social media accounts with where no one knows you. Grim says, yeah. I want you guys to truly be a brand. Like for you to, like if I was representing you, I could describe you like this really clearly, that your audience members are really clear. So, because all of these things will help inform your content and it'll also be easier for you to win, truly. So keep this in the back of your mind, in your back pocket. All right. So, when was this? At the end of June. I was checking in with the people who completed the 30-day video challenge for June. Congratulations if you did. And if you did, I owe you a strategy call, so we'll figure out how to do that. One of the strategy calls I jumped on was with Dawn, our club member, who's amazing. Her Twitch channel is Dawn Space Station. And what she told me was she is a full-time English teacher. She kind of does this for fun, but she would also love to make a little bit of money. She doesn't have to make a ton of money to justify her investing more time into her Twitch stream. And so we got on the call. We talked for a bit about her background. Oh, Paladin Center. I was just watching downstream. That's so fantastic. So she is a full-time English teacher. She loves horror movies. She's a multi-streamer. She's an esports coach. She also plays Sims 4. She's a writer and an artist. So when we were taking a look at her social media, she was like, I know what you're gonna say. She was like, I'm kind of everywhere. It's a mess. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to focus on. Honestly, this is fun for me, but I do want to be a little bit more professional. And if this does go somewhere, that would be really cool. So that was kind of where she was at. So we kind of wrote down everything that she was good at, interested in, the things that she has tried. And this is kind of the list we came up with to describe Dawn in multiple categories. So now, if you look at her Instagram, she had a little bit of each one, which was too much, right? Like the person who wants to be a writer might not be interested in horror movies, and that person probably doesn't like Sims, and that person doesn't care about English, and they're not in high school anymore. Do you know what I mean? She was talking to way too many people. Now, and then whenever I start talking like this, people are like, "But what about those giant people on YouTube and Twitch and they can do whatever they want?" Okay, once you're huge, you can kind of do whatever you want because you have the audience. Like if Markiplier walks his dog. Everyone's so interested because he's Markiplier. It's just like interesting. But when you're on the up and up and you are trying to break through the like nobody knows me wall, it's really important to niche down, to have focus so that you're talking to one specific audience, right? If you throw in too much in the beginning, then not only does the audience not know what's going on, but the algorithms and the machine learnings and the SEO also doesn't know what to do with you because there's just too much happening. So this is why we got to niche down. This is what we did with Dawn. So we wrote down all of these things that she's done, did, interested in. Then we really got to the core of Dawn's goal. So this is why I don't really like generalist social media advice videos because everyone has different goals. Everyone's a different kind of creator. So when someone just hops on TikTok and says, this is how you're going to go viral and make $1 billion, like that might have worked for that person. We don't know. Do they work in tech? Did they make an app? Were they, building websites for someone? There's so many levers that we don't know about. And also for you guys, we don't know what your goals are. Some of you want to be hobbyists. Some of you want to have fun. Some of you don't want to do this professionally. Others of you want to replace your full-time job. Other of you want to be streamer of the year. There's a whole like scale when it comes to this in terms of what people want and what they want to do. And so it's really, really important to define your goals. So if you've never done this, I highly suggest you guys whip out a journal, go to a quiet space, make a nice cup of tea, just, spend some time with your brain and write down the goals you have and be really honest with yourself. Oh, Bui says, I might struggle with this. We can talk to you more at the end. So I want to give another example. So in the beginning, I talked about my artist channel for young children, and I'm going to be totally honest. Back then, this was like several years ago, like 6, 7 years ago. Back then, I think I didn't have the guts to say, I would love this to make me full-time money. I had weird feelings about money. Money made me feel icky and capitalist. And you know, I was like kind of fresh out of college. Um, I just wasn't ready to say I'm ready to be a full entrepreneur and I want to make money. I just wasn't ready to have the conversation with myself. So I built this thing that parents loved, teachers loved. I was getting really sweet handwritten notes from kids every year, but I was dirt poor. I was living on food stamps. I was charging my rent to my credit card. I was up to my eyeballs in debt. I was working 4 part-time jobs. I was literally losing my mind. Um, because I just kept saying I wanted to help people. I want to help people with my art. And I was accomplishing it. But after I did that for 5 years. And after 5 years, I threw in the towel and I was like, I can't pay for my groceries. And it was just like a wake-up call. So this is why I really get on people about their goals. You have to be really, really honest with yourself. If you want to make money, that's a whole different game. If you want like satisfaction and creative fulfillment, that might be a different game. If you just want to like rescue animals, that's fantastic. But it's just you're not going to be a millionaire if that's your business. Do you know what I mean? So we got really, really clear on Don's goals. Oh, Bui said, it doesn't help when people shame you for wanting to be an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. I think it's really cool. I love it. We'll talk more about that at the end. Anyway, so at Dawn, we had a heart-to-heart. I got to spend a decent amount of time with her on the call. I did record it. She gave me permission, so you guys can watch it if you want. It's kind of long, but it was a good conversation to watch someone go through the niching process. Um, but once we went down all the lanes and I gave her a bunch of different ideas and possibilities, this is what we found out that Dawn wants. She wants to have a tight-knit gaming community on Twitch with like 4 to 5 regulars. Making money through partner program and sponsorships would be awesome. But she also supports herself fine with the English teaching gig, and her streaming life kind of exists in the summertime. She doesn't do it in the school year. So she kind of wanted something chill. She wanted to have something fun on the side. But she's like, I actually don't want to go pro. I don't want to quit my job. I actually really love teaching. This is something where I just want to connect with more people that like what I like. And once we got really clear on that and I heard her, we were able to make a plan. Sorry, I'm checking the chat. Okay, we're good. Graham, why are you crying? Graham, don't cry. Don't cry on me. Okay, so once we got clear on Don's goals, once we got clear on Don's goals, this is what we came up with. So this was based on Dawn's time commitment, what she wanted to accomplish, what she was interested in, what she wasn't interested in. We made this hyper focused, hyper clear. Dawn does not have a lot of time to devote to her streaming thing, but she does want it to take lift off. If that is true, if she only has 3 months of summer to get this done, then we need to focus, focus, focus. Right now, she was doing way too much. When she was listing off all the horror games she was playing and then she threw in Sims 4, I made a face. I was like, what? Like to me, it's uh, you can do that when you're Markiplier. You can do that when you're Markiplier. It's a little early, you know? So what we focused on, yes, we got to lock in. That's right, boy. So what we focused on was Dawn Space Station is going to become the Dead by Daylight streamer. Now, this is when I asked her to list her 5 favorite games, this was number one. When I asked her to talk about it, her little feet started kicking and she got really excited and she was talking really fast and she was like, "Oh my God, I love this game. I love this game so much." And I was like, "How would you feel if like the developers knew who you were?" And she was like, "I would freaking die. Like that would be amazing." And I was like, "This is what we're going to do." So what I tasked Dawn with was like, if you want to be a little bit professional, not even all the way professional, we need to hyper focus on this title. You need to play the crap out of this game. You need to connect with other streamers who love Dead by Daylight. You need to create YouTube videos about this content. You need to tweet the hell out of people who also do this and the devs. You just need to become like a super fan of Dead by Daylight, the video game. And then once that starts to get traction, because this is in the horror category, and actually this video game highlights a lot of other horror movie properties, she can kind of delve into that, but we need to start here. The reason why is because there's a bajillion streamers, as you know, and everyone's doing the same thing. Almost everyone in our growth club, when I read their bios, it says that they're a variety casual streamer. Do you know how many variety casual streamers? There's just too many. But imagine you were able to collect all the people who absolutely love this game. You became so top dog in the community that even the devs kind of recognize you. You want to accomplish this first. You want to break into this first. I shared this story in our growth club, but Queso is my favorite streamer. He's really, really great. He won Streamer of the Year, and the way he did it was he did the same thing you guys were doing. He was a variety casual streamer. He was playing that basketball game, that shooter game, that multiplayer game. He was just kind of like dabbling. And then the Harry Potter game was coming out. He had $10 in his bank account. He maxed out his credit card on a PS5 and the Harry Potter game, and he was one of the first people to stream it. This was incredibly strategic. He was like, a bunch of people are going to watch this game. I am going to be the first, and I'm going to be the best, and I'm going to play the hell out of this game. And I'm going to dual cast it to TikTok because TikTok sends you more people than Twitch. And that's how he blew up his channel and he became Queso, Streamer of the Year. And now he can play any tiny indie title he wants. And the devs put him in the game because he has a bajillion followers. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a critical point that you have to break through as a creator to get tons and tons of attention. This is the way. I have to be able to say like Grim the blah blah blah, Bui the blah blah blah, Cassie Hanko the blah blah. Like I have to be able to describe you in just a sentence or two. Right now, a lot of our club members, you guys are so cute and lovely, and I love you. But like you do too much. And even when I bring you up to my friends, I can't differentiate you guys very easily because so many people are kind of dabbling in so many things. So if you want to take this seriously, I really want you to go through this process. You can do it with me. We can try to make little worksheets or something, but we need to start here. And that doesn't mean it's automatically going to work, but it's the start. And then as you go and you make content, you can edit this. Does this make sense? In the chat, if it makes sense, say yeah or something. It does. Yeah, I would love to make a worksheet. I want to make so many things. So here's this. All right, now let's do something for our artists. We have a lot of streamers and artists and writers and creatives. Let's use the same exercise with products. So many of our artists have adorable little Etsy stores, but nobody looks at it. Their traffic is zero because they just made some generic cat sticker. If you go to Etsy right now and you punch in cat sticker, there's like 50 billion cat stickers that populate. So how the heck? And then if you're a brand new listing, guess what, honey bunny? Your cat sticker listing is going to be all the way at the bottom and nobody's going to see it. Do you know what I mean? So instead of just saying cat sticker, you have to be specific on what kind of cat sticker. And the thing with this social media creativity game is that you can literally do anything, which is overwhelming, but there are little ways where you can build yourself up to success. So instead of just saying cat sticker, you gotta like put some differentiators on it to make it yours and make it findable. One of the examples I bring up always is Chloris Creates. She's a phenomenal TikToker, Instagrammer, shop owner. She's Asian. I have a soft spot for Asian creators, but she's really cute because in her keychain pet shop, she focused on breeds. So it might not be your exact cat, but if you go to her shop, she has every type of cat breed, every type of dog breed. And then she goes to these amazing animal pet events and that's how she talks to the pet people. She's like, "Oh, like you have this kind of lizard? So do I." And she has a whole section of lizards. So that was her niche, was pet art, but not only was it pet art, it was by breed. And year after year, she tries to expand that library, which is really, really cool. So that's one example of niching down. All right, so this is, you're like, that's great, Judy. How do I do this? Right? So you got to do some research. First, come up, all right, so just like Dawn, you're going to scribble out all the things that you are interested in, all the things you're good at, all the things that you want to investigate, write all that down. Then one by one, take like your top three or your top five, and then you got to do a little bit of research. So for example, whenever I come up with like a product idea, the very first thing I do is I log into Etsy and then I punch in what I'm thinking about and I check to see if it already exists. If it super exists, if there's like millions of listings, it's already on Shein, it's already on Temu, it might be dead. Conversely, if I pop it in and there's this many listings, like there's zero, maybe I went too far left. For example, there was someone in our growth club a couple months ago who she was really struggling with this. And then when I tried to explain Hyperniche, she said, I want to make cyclist tarot cards. Like she took two niches and squished them together. And then I was like, well, let's test the theory. And then we punched it into Etsy, zero listings. Now, if that happens, you might have gone too deep down the niche end and nobody's looking for it. So you want to come up with something that people want, that's something that people are looking for. Okay, so the earlier you are, the better, especially as a small creator to win that niche. If you are at the point where it's too far gone, it's not even worth pursuing. It's on its way out. Let's take an example. Labubu, for some of you guys that are like hardcore Pop Mart Trinket fans, you knew about Labubu before Lisa of Blackpink knew about Labubu. Like, Labubu became really, really famous because celebrities were toting them around, so that's when it became mainstream. But for you guys that are like hardcore in that niche before, you knew about it years ago. You know what I mean? Um, so people who were early on, right? You kind of can become a face and a personality to that niche. But if it's too far gone, it's too late. So, for example, another example, Animal Crossing. When it first launched during the pandemic, it was insanity. It was like the most downloaded, played game. And the people who were like hardcore Animal Crossing creators got their due. Like they blew up even harder because they jumped on the new game really, really fast. People to this day still do Animal Crossing stuff. It's just not as exciting. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I mean. So do some soul searching, find out what you really care about, what you're good at, what you know, and then do a little bit of research. Where's that thing? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Do a little bit of research and see what's going on, what's popping. Here's another example. I got to talk to Neil Krampus, another one of our VTubers on a strategy call because she did the 30-day challenge. Um, she's a VTuber in Portuguese, and which I think is really, really cool. And then we were trying to find her niche the way I did for Dawn. And she said that she loved RPG Maker games, which I've kind of heard of RPG Maker. I thought it was really cool. So we started looking on Twitch for existing channels that do RPG Maker. One of the biggest titles she told me was Omori, that game by Omocat, this illustrator. And we were looking at it, and it was like the view count and the active channels is very, very low for RPG Maker games. So in that instance, if there's no one there, I would say let's keep looking. So for Neil specifically, even though her heart was in translating RPG Maker games to Portuguese, which I think is very beautiful and that's such a passion project. If her goal is to get more followers on Twitch, maybe not great. Graham said Omori is dead, Undertale would be stronger. Exactly. Maybe there's like another title that's better at that. But anyway, so that's what I mean. You got to kind of look. So if you are not part of that niche and that community and you don't know, then you have to do some research. But like Grim, I'm assuming you're a huge member of the gamer community. There's a lot of things you instinctively know because this is the stuff you're looking up and the stuff that you are in anyway, right? I want to give another example. So my shop really blew up because I was a 3D printing shop that did kawaii things. I'm gonna brag, we were one of the first people to do it. There was definitely other people doing it, but I think I was one of the fastest people to put it on TikTok. So we just became very dominant in the kawaii 3D printing niche. This was back in 25 years ago. Now, literally everyone is doing what I'm doing. They use the same colors, they have the same ideas. But back in 2020, when it was me versus 5 other people, I conquered that niche. It was my niche, and it was a lot easier to pull in followers. People love following something that's original, something emergent, something that's cool, something that's like, I haven't seen that yet. But it's this weird balance of I haven't seen that yet, and I want it. If it's just I have never seen that, that's weird, or like I just don't care, maybe too far left. So it's this game of like playing Minesweeper, and you gotta find the thing. But it's totally possible. All right. Niche test. So let's say you come up with your hypothesis, like Dawn. So for Dawn, we decided with all of her constraints and her interests and her goals, her thing was she's going to become a Dead by Daylight streamer. So we're not just going to leave it there. She has to test it. She's going to make a bunch of short form videos about it to see if the audience exists. Social media is really great for a million reasons. So not only can it pull you an audience and get you sales, but it's a fantastic way to test your ideas. So if you make like 30 videos in a month about Dead by Daylight and it sucks, no one cares, then either something was wrong with the formatting or the video itself, or people just don't care about it and you have to pivot. Do you know what I mean? So I love using short form video for bringing awareness to my shop and my brand and me, but I also use it as a test. I test to see if they like the product idea, if they like this niche, if they like this shape, if they like this category. Here's an example. So in my shop, we make all kinds of cutesy kawaii things. And I don't know, okay, maybe you guys can help me, but every couple months, they will beg me for a mushroom thingy. Please make us a mushroom, make us a mushroom, make us a mushroom. And every single time we've made a mushroom, it bombs. It bombs hard. Like we sell one. Like it's so bad. But then we make something that's a little bit more obscure. Like what was the last thing? Like the Crow collaboration I did with Issa, that blew up so hard. And it's like really strange. Like in your mind, as an artist or as a streamer, you might be like, wait, this is like the same video, or like this was the same thing. But if you just tweak one little thing, that could be the difference between this and this. And it's just because people are people. And it's not a math equation, and you know what I mean? It's just like it's timing, it's the video, it's the style. Do you know what I mean? So, niche test. Once you come up with your hypothesis, like blah, 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 this is what I do, I want you to make a bunch of short form videos because this is the fastest way to test. Because those short form apps are just going to constantly chuck people at you. And if your views are down, that might mean that no one was interested or that you had to make the video differently. But we have to do that test. And then that's what's going to alert you if this is working or not. Another way to think about this is, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this. There's a Japanese word called ikigai. This is how Japanese people find their purpose. It's the center, it's the center part where it's an intersection of what you love, what the world needs, your strengths, and what you can get paid for. And then if you can nail all of them, this is your ikigai. This is what will give you satisfaction and purpose. So this is another way to think about the same exact thing. Oh, really? I love this. You should definitely look it up. There's so much content about this. But this is another way to think about it. And I think this is why a lot of our club members struggle because they're like, well, I really love oil painting, but I work as a programmer. Like it's like this, it's like two separate worlds. And they're like, but is there a way I can get it more in the center? Maybe. So when I was thinking about my ikigai, that's how I landed on very social animal, you know? So I get paid for my shop, which is cool. I love art and people, which is nice. The world needs more solutions and training and teaching because people don't know things. And then my strength is I love to yap and I love people and I'm super extroverted. So when I was thinking about Ikigai, what's the intersection of all of my circles? I came up with very social animal. I found the school platform, fell in love with it, and I decided, you know what? I wish like, guys, I don't know if you know this, I'm 39 and I've been doing this my whole life, ever since I was 14 years old. I've had Etsy stores and I've worked in maker spaces and I was an art teacher and I was doing all this crazy stuff. And I feel like I wasted so much time and I wish I had a very social animal, like someone who was ahead of me and could tell me like how I could have saved time, how I could have done it better. But I literally didn't have anyone like that. So I decided to build the thing the younger me would have wanted so that I could find quicker the thing I should be doing. And I landed on VSA. So I'm super happy you guys are here. I really hope Very Social is still in development and I'm developing it with you. So thank you for your patience. And I'm so happy to have met every single one of you. And I really hope that it's helpful at some point if it's not helpful. But anyway, so that's how I came up with VSA. I was thinking about all of these different things that I love, that the world needs, that is, that you can get paid for. That's my strength. So that. That's where that came from. All right. Here, so TLDR, here is your steps for finding your niche. Number one, I want you to journal. So you can make lists, you can write down stories, whatever helps you get clarity. I want you to write down everything you're interested in. Oh, and then here's my super hack. I really want you to use a physical notebook and pen. Don't just do this digitally. I know we live in a digital age, but there's all this research that says it helps your brain make connections when you physically use paper and pen. So I really want you to do that. Right, physically write it down. Write down everything that you're interested in and that you're good at. You could do a little tree like the way I did for Dawn. Um, Next, you're going to do some research and find out what's happening with each niche. Uh, Here's another example. Oh, sorry. Bui says, yeah, physical writing helps me remember more than digital paladin. I just did with a Kuromi pen. I got, yay, that makes me so happy. I'm going to give you another example about the research. So it was 4th of July weekend in the United States. I spent a bunch of time with my husband's family. One of Jace's brother-in-law is a professor in, oh my goodness, in liberal arts. He wanted to create, it makes me so sad. He wants to create a networking club amongst academics. Something super academic. And then the college that it's under has no money. And all the professors don't have money. And he's working on this thing to make money. Like he's like, I want this to replace my full-time job. And so as we were chit-chatting, I did the same exact thing that I'm telling you guys. We like pulled up our phones and I was like, I was like, all right, go ahead. Tell me how much this makes, how much that makes, how much this makes, how much, and we were just kind of like looking up this niche that like exists in other circles. And like every single article was like, no more grant money. Like this school is closing, that school, this person got fired. It was just so bad. And I was like, is there any way? So I was asking his brother-in-law this. I was like, is there any way we can work on something else? I was like begging him. I was like, all the signs were there, you know? And he was just like, but it's what I care about. So what I told him was like, if this is your passion project, dude, like let it be your passion project. But if it's money, like all the signs were pointing to this is a bad idea. So and he said it himself because he knew the niche and the community way better than us, like academia and private colleges and liberal arts. I don't know. I don't know that much about this, but just with a couple Google searches, we were like, man, like I don't know. I don't know. All right, step three, combine with some niches. Now, this isn't necessary, but I do really like it. So in the example of Dawn, because this is like her part-time fun thing and she's a teacher, she doesn't have a lot of time, we really streamlined it to and made it this simple. Dawn is a Dead by Daylight streamer. We made it that simple and clear and concise because she just doesn't have a lot of time. Versus my favorite, Kennedy, Cozy Games, she really, I believe she used to be a lawyer, but now she does this full time. She's a influencer streamer, right? So if she was going to replace her lawyer income with this, she has to be professional. She has an agency, she's an affiliate, she has sponsorships, she has all of it, right? So she had to approach this as professionally as possible. And I really believe that one of her strengths is that her combination of niches were all fantastic. So her hyper niche is cozy streamer, Nintendo ambassador, Instagram influencer. All three in themselves, if you broke them apart, are incredibly valuable and interesting. But because she stacked them, that's what made Cozy K Cozy K. And it just makes her like a multi-dimensional creator. So similarly, I don't think you have to combine niches, but I do think it makes it interesting. This is also something that you can layer and do as you go on. So for Dawn, she can start here, and then as she starts to get traction, she can add things, more things that her audience likes, more things that she can visit within her niche. So you can do that. But maybe this is like a future step. And then step four, you can test your niche idea with videos. So you can go visit other creators that are kind of in your niche, see what they're up to. Don't be a copycat, be unique. But you can also like test your different concepts, ideas, video types, and then find out if that audience exists and then connect with them. Ah, Grim said, what if all the niches you like are dead? Ah! Um, it's exactly like what I was talking about with my brother-in-law. So he's really, really passionate about liberal art private colleges. It's a dying niche. Colleges are dying left and right. People are getting fired. If this is like a passion thing where you're like, I have to save it, you can. Just know that there might never be a payout or a payoff. So if you're cool with that, it's okay, but it's just a lot harder, I think. All right, my gang, that was my presentation. Ooh, we have a good 15, 20 minutes left. So I would love to. Oh, Nell, you second. Hi, Nell. So I would love to answer as many questions as you can. I know this is a big, important thing that a lot of people struggle with, so I would love to help you. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer we can go through? So Grim said, what if all your niches are dead? Oh my gosh. Um, there's gotta be something you're interested in that's not dead. You know? Boy says it's kind of like how VTubers are oversaturated from what I was told. So you got to stand out and makes you stand out. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I asked Moonstone Bun, one of our super active members, I was like, is there like educational VTubers? So I actually came up with this idea and she said, yes, they do exist. But I saw a TikTok like a couple months ago that's, yeah, Moonstone. I saw a TikTok a couple months ago that said Gen Alpha kids, that's the kids coming after Gen Z, they started using AI to get their like school recordings. Uh, they switched the voices out for like Kanye West to make it more entertaining. So they're learning like math from Kanye West, and I thought that was really funny. So I was like, if so let's go back here. So like let's say you are a VTuber, but let's say you do have like a profession, something you're an expert in. I think that would be really interesting if it wasn't just games. Like what if you also taught something? I think that would be really interesting. She did say there was a handful of VTubers that are more educational based. And she said that some of them are doing well. I think it depends on your niche, your category. Graham says there are a few of them doctors. Ooh, I would love a VTuber doctor. That would be so sick. I would love it. Another, well, oh my gosh, who was it? Who was it? Who was it? Someone in her club. Laura. She's another streamer, and she said, I literally can't think of anything other than teaching other streamers how to stream. False. I don't think that you have to teach people what you do. Like in my category, like the Artist Alley shop category, there was this period of time where literally everyone was making videos that were like, this is how much money I make on Etsy. This is how much money I make at conventions. And I just hated that so much because because all they did was educate their competition. They weren't getting followers. So even Chloris Creates, whom I really admire, this person, the person who makes the keychains, she was so transparent about like, this is how much I spend, this is how much money I make, these are my sales. And within a matter of months, there was like hundreds of stores that literally stole her shop model. And she made a video saying she was sad about it. And I was like, but why did you share it? So I do understand those videos do work sometimes, but it's like, who are you trying to attract? If she was trying to be a coach, trying to teach people how to do the Etsy game, I think that would have been great. And then she could have used that piece of content to attract that customer. But she was just an artist promoting her shop. I would have wanted to see her talk about like what animals she loves, what animals she has, all the exotic animals events she went to. She should have focused on her inspiration around this brand instead of giving us her accounting books. Do you know what I mean? Because then she was attracting all the cash grabby people who just want to make a quick buck on Etsy. So that was a trend at one point though, where all the shop people were being hyper transparent about their sales. Like I did it at one point, and all I did was get copycats. Um, so yeah, so just make your content around the inspiration and what it is to attract the right person. Don't do it just for the views because you might be getting the wrong views. Do you know what I mean? Hold up. Oh, questions. Okay. There's a legit doctor named Syken. Really? Oh, I need to look that up. Hmm. If you know how to set up a stream for optimal streaming and recording, you could do that. Grim says, I'm stumped, to be honest. No, oh, Nell's here. I heard about a doctor who did YouTube animations, like storytelling, uh, and they were not full in depth because of confidentiality. Oh, interesting. Wait, show people how and then cut that to a video. Top 5 tips for new streamers. Etsy has been allowing AI artwork. Okay, so if you want to be a streamer that helps other streamers, you can. But I think that's really hard unless you've blown up first. Because because I've even found videos from like the top streamers that are schlepping out their advice. So I think it's really competitive. I okay, so if me and Boy got to sit, or who was it? If me and Grim was struggling with their niche, if they were, if we got to sit down and do the thing I did with Dawn, I would go through all of your interests. There's probably you are all creative. I feel like you all have a million interests. I feel like we could Frankenstein something that you would love, but would also be interesting. Let me show you Dr. K if I can, if my computer will let me. This is a good example. Oh my gosh, my Google Chrome. Stupid. Google Chrome. Any other questions about niches? Let's help you guys out while you're here. And I also want to show you Dr. K that some of you may know, some of you may not know. Here we go.
All right. Okay. You ready? Hey, yeah, man. Sure.
Sorry. I have too many buttons. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I found it. I found him. Okay, this is Dr. K. He is such a fascinating combination of niches. Dr. K is a full-blown Harvard graduate doctor. He was also trained as a monk in India for a season. Um, and he cares about gamers. So he goes on Twitch and he talks about mental health and all of this stuff. So right, so that's a really great combination. He's a full-blown Harvard doctor, he is a monk, and he's a gamer. So he kind of he makes all of his mental health advice toward gamers and people who are chronically online. Super, super interesting, right? And so he really stands out to me. I feel like there's other people who are trying this now, but I feel like he's one of the more famous ones. Um, so really great. So that's like a combination of who he is, and he helps streamers. He helps gamers. But Graham says you have to have numbers to back your advice when it comes to streamer advice. That's right. Are you able to do a review just to see if you can decipher if we have a niche that you can easily see? Oh, that's the guy who interviewed Pirate. Oh, who's Pirate? Are you able to do a review? Let's see. We have like 5 little minutes, so that might be really fast. But I keep promising this, and I just don't know when we would have the time. But I would love to do office hours and maybe okay, so this will be my quasi promise. How about Judy makes you guys a worksheet that'll walk you through the steps? And then if you guys finish the worksheet, I will maybe do office hours where you can sign up for like a 15-minute slot, 20-minute slot or something. And then we can try to find your niche to try. You love homework? Boy, that's crazy. I hate homework. That's great. Yeah. So don't let me forget. I'm gonna work on a worksheet and then maybe we can do that. Because I think it also helps just to talk to somebody. I'm a nerd. Like, so Very Social Animal is a school group, and I'm convincing one of my entrepreneur friends, Brandon, who some of you have met, to also do school because I really think he would love it. And for the longest time, he really thought he wanted to make it about technology because he's a programmer. And today he like sent me a voice memo and he's like, Judy, I thought about it. I went to a bunch of barbecues and it hit me. I don't want to talk about tech. It's my 9 to 5. I think I want to talk about my coffee cart. So at night, he's working on a coffee business, which is so cool. So he's gonna make a school group where he's documenting the whole thing. So if people want to also start a coffee business, they can, because he's doing it from step one. And this is something I said to him 3 months ago, but he didn't listen to me. Because I think you have to like think about it. This is why I wish you guys could just like boop, 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 like make a post and tell me what you want, and I could just spit it out and tell you. But it's like an emotional, personal thing where I think you have to like wrestle with yourself, think about it, journal, try it, and then it kind of bursts through itself. Like even me landing on Very Social Animal was like a really long journey. I tried a million things. Kind of like the children's book, the shop. I was like doing a million things. And then like literally on the side, while I was working on my shop, I was working out of a co-working space, and there was like 5 to 6 businesses that we were all in the same space. And every single day I would like beg them to do TikTok, and nobody listened to me. But like every day I would like show them my analytics. I'm like, look at it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And like nobody listened to me. Um, and I think from there, uh and then like out of all of those businesses, one girl, she was a little bit younger than all the other business people and she was a little bit less camera shy. I literally wrote her a script. She did it shot for shot. Um, she made $40,000 in a day from my script. And it totally worked. Like it was the right place, right time. And I think my husband was like watching me. And he's like, I think you're good at this. And I'm like, am I good at this? And he's like, I think you're good at this. And I was like, oh, okay. So from there, I was just trying to help people nonstop. And I think the big thing is fear. Like a lot of older business people just have a lot of fear and they just don't want to learn anything new. And so VSA in itself went through a lot of iterations. Like Nell was here when I just made it about Artist Alley. And Artist Alley, I think, was kind of so back when we were only artists, social media for artists, our group was only 300 people. And I wonder, and I did all the same promotion that I do now. And I wonder if it's because a lot of artists, and once I talk to them, it makes more sense. Like they're very introverted. They would rather kill themselves than show up on camera. Like they're just like, I just want to draw, leave me alone. And then when I opened it up this past in June, I opened it up to like more like anyone, and then all the streamers and VTubers came and kind of shaped the personality of our group. I think it done, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because streamers and gamers, like you kind of have to be cool with a part of you appearing on screen. So like it's something you're already working toward. Like you're streaming every day and it's either your voice or your VTuber or your face. Um, and so yeah, so now I'm trying to help everybody. But it's been so much fun. And I think there's a lot of potential in our little group. So I want to see. Something Jay said to me a couple days ago, he's like, wouldn't that be crazy if one of your members became like the next queso? And I was like, I would love that so much. That would be so freaking cool. I'm ignoring the chat. My medical debt would be cured. No, that's what I'm saying. So if the social is right and the product is right and it's presented correctly, like your life will change. Oh, but like sad story about that friend that I helped. Um, it was too much success too fast, and she couldn't fulfill the orders. And she actually like gave up, which makes me really sad. But she was proof that she had the right video, the right product at the right time. So, yep, I think she's doing something else. Paladin, I was here too, even though I wanted to be a streamer and I saw the value in you, and even saying from then and even not in my hobby. Introvert learning to be an extrovert. I think you totally can. So you don't have to naturally be an extrovert. I think there's things that extroverts do, that introverts can learn to unlock all this stuff. So for example, if you drop me in a convention or a room full of people at a party, I will just learn everything about you and I will figure out all your secrets. I'm just like very inquisitive, as you can tell by the VSA wall. I'm not a VTuber, but I want to know everything about VTubers. I'm just like a very curious ADHD kid person. So like be interested in the people around you, ask a lot of questions, learn. And what's really fun is like whenever I go to a thing that I shouldn't be at and I just like learn a lot, it really informs me the creative options I have for my niches. You know what I mean? The reason why I have a 3D printing kawaii shop is because I worked in a makerspace for 5 years and they taught me 3D printing. Everyone in the 3D printing space were making nasty, ugly, gray, engineering, mechanical things. None of it was cute. But I love anime, manga, kawaii, San X, and Rio. Like that's just my world. I'm Asian. I'm wearing an Eevee shirt. So like that was just the first thing I tried to make was something adorable. I think the first thing I 3D printed was a tiny BMO. Do you know what I mean? And then everyone in the makerspace was like, "Why are you making toys?" They were really annoyed at me. Um, but that's what allowed me to gain a huge following was I was doing something really interesting. It was the combination of two niches. It was 3D printing and Sanrio. Kaboom. And then now it's extremely common, but back in 2020 it was unheard of. Like there was literally no pink material. Like I was paying like $40 a roll because that thing didn't exist, you know? So yeah, tis the game. And what's really fun is like this is always changing. And I think there's so much space for like interesting, original, unique things and people. Paladin, I was basically just saying that even though I wasn't an artist, I saw a lot of value in what you were teaching. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Paladin. My sweetie pie. Oh my God, it's 5 p.m. All right, I gotta run to my next meeting with my biz VSA folks. And I hope this was helpful. Please post in school if you have any questions. If you end up doing the mind map thing and you write out all your things and you're working on it, please share with us. And here for you. I will work on that worksheet and I will see you next time, okay? I hope it was helpful. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.